So, as we continue with our faculty development program and delve further into the theme of sustainability, it is my pleasure to introduce the expert for our second session, Mr. Barun Kumar Basak. Mr. Basak is a graduate mechanical engineer from Bengal Engineering College, earning two gold medals from the University of Calcutta and a postgraduate qualification in business management with another gold medal. Over his career, he has contributed to 12 organizations across industries, including steel, infrastructure, environmental projects, and renewable energy, leading innovations such as 10 special bright steel bar sections and import substitution machinery parts. He has also been trained in e-commerce, ERP with SAP, and procurement procedures for World Bank aided projects. He is an IRDI licensed insurance surveyor and loss assessor in fire engineering with distinction and marine cargo. Also an approved valuer of plant and machinery. His technical and environmental interests are very extensive. He has handled many projects in renewable energy, air, water, and soil management, including flue gas mitigation, sewage treatment, and rooftop solar installations. In addition, he has completed verified courses from Harvard, Noveron, and Berkeley, reflecting his dedication to continuous learning and professional growth. It is indeed a pleasure to have him with us today to share his expertise on a few focus areas of urban sustainability. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Barun Kumar Basak. Sir.
Sir,
Oh,
unmute, sir.
sorry, it was not unmuted earlier. I say it again. Thank you, madam, for the good words you have spoken.
Thank you,
And
sir.
well, it gave me immense experience and exposure by working in 12 organizations. And that way, I am privileged to have exposure to various technical, environmental, legal, social, mm, area. So I would first of all uh, uh, ask you, request you, and I commit myself that we share our minds and thoughts to learn together and apply now. Being at the same level and platform with all the participants, experts, coordinates, and associates, it is my humble mission to gain from the common pool of knowledge, understanding, and vision. Now, this will be our pledge and oath to contribute to the mankind and to the earth we all live and survive in for sustainability, not only for our own lives, but for future generations and for all creatures and nature. Now, about the sustainability of engineers themselves, before going on to the sustainability of urban life entity, I would say any practicing engineer has got to get involved in varieties of streams, functions, responsibilities, like in technological status and development, business conditions, human relations, regulatory compulsions, market scenario, logistics support, outsourcing or conversions, and also inward inputs, thus exposed to economic, legal, social, political, and environmental surroundings and commitment and implications. So that way, I can give some example of my own career. Being a qualified only in mechanical engineering has not been enough. I have worked in a metallurgical process in Gaskin Williams, civil construction, project construction, and also chemical engineering processes in Nippon Denro, cryogenics, and environmental in Government Pipers, legal, social, architectural, civil, electrical engineering, fishery, and museology in World Bank aided ICZMP project. Water recycling technology in my own housing society, fruit processing and animal feed in West Bengal Consultancy Organization, green buildings in DCPL, and now it is a multi-engineering and various complex functions in insurance survey. Giving you just a few involvements, and it is all about sustainability of the organization in the society and for the engineer himself. I can give you a few examples that I was involved in, like developing special steel section bright steel bars in Gaskin Williams that required for survival and sustainability of the organization and for its future growth within the market. In Government Pipers, Kolkata, the borewell water discharged after kitchen use had very high TDS. The original water coming out of the borewell had high TDS. That flowing into ponds would be threatening for fish, and water treatment was recovery was necessary, which I had to address. Then again, for my brief stint in the Sultanate of Oman in Middle East, in their only steel making unit that the country had at that time, being at the chief technical executive of that company, I had to address the secondary fume emissions from steel making in Oman, as the government did not care about whether the industry will continue, survive, or flourish. But no fume should be seen in the blue, clear sky. That was the ultimatum given, and we had to address that. It was fume mitigation process for a steel plant, secondary fume. Everyone addresses primary only. Similarly, in the housing society that I lived for some time, there was water processing, recycling, and recovery system with activated sludge process. And for that, operation and maintenance, some technical input and support was necessary from the residents also. So I was involved there. Electrical power distribution in the ICZMP project for Ganga Sagar Island. It was for the entire island that electricity was distributed. So the electrical engineering had to be also a I would say, a requirement for my survival. Then for Digha town in the same ICZM project, there were drainage, sewerage treatment plant, and there were many cyclone shelters set up in that ICZM project. And these are some of the examples, other than myself now owning a battery operated scooter, an electric vehicle, and a rooftop solar plant, all by myself. So one has to then withstand the sustainability challenges as an engineer as I was trying to describe to you. Now, going to the topic about urban sustainability after engineers' own sustainability, I have no formula, no data table, no brain taxing, and it will be pure philosophical, strategic, and planning sort of thing with common sense and common knowledge. And I would only request you to relax with your mind given to me. Now, proceeding to the material. So now you are into the second session of first day, which is a few focus points of urban sustainability. I have a lot of slides and I will not skip, I will go over from one slide to another slide quite quickly. And therefore, maybe you have to also glance through the material quickly. See, sustainable development, what I am trying to explain here, is encompassing all the environmental protection, the social progress, the economic development, and the common thing being sustainable development in the Venn diagram in the center. That means everything has to be sustained so that we develop through the process by not ignoring any of the I would say parts. What are the underlying principles of sustainable development? You have to meet the present needs, access to this is all the whatever basic requirements. Then intergenerational equity would mean that future generations have the same right as we to enjoy the nature's resources and a healthy environment. Then balancing everything, economic, social, environment factors to integrate the economic growth, environment protection, and social well-being in all. What are the essential factors for sustainable development that I have already mentioned? Economic development. You have to have means of technical upgradation and various process innovations. You have to create jobs. You have to, well, simplify jobs. You have to create employment. The environmental protection, we have to mitigate the pollution. We have to prevent the climate change effects from our development actions and keep it for future generations. Social progress is food, education, healthcare, shelter, and all that we can think of. So all three together will give us a sustainable development. It is a graphical representation again, environment, society, and economy. Now, the holistic approach that seeks to create a world where both people and everything, planet, people, prosperity, partnership, peace, they all peacefully live together. So that gives us the sustainability. Newer approach areas of sustainable development includes renewable energy, which is solar, wind, as you have just heard of that, hydro, geothermal. Now, geothermal is a new term and that is coming in a big way in USA, and we in India, I think, have also started exploring. Waste reduction and recycling had not been given any importance earlier. Now it has to get prominence. Modernized agriculture. Well, here we have drip irrigation, the spray irrigation, conservation of water, how to protect the soil, and reduce usage of pesticides. Community development is a concept which is a very, very important part of sustainable development, self-help initiatives, cooperative ownership. And there it is described in detail in boxes. The social areas include good labor practice, community relation, legal laws and regulations to favor the development, stakeholder participation, altogether self-help initiative and social justice partnership. Economics would mean the financial health, technical health, economic performance, profitability and policy goals, market addressing, matching the market, even creating the market and matching it. And then environment, the three pillars, emission and waste product services. Sustainable development goals, you have already seen in the last lecture, last session, that it was adopted in 2015, the target being 2030. There are 17 goals, and these are constructed in form of three basic pillars. One is environmental pillar, second is social pillar, and the third one is economic pillar, giving all the sustainable development 17 goals categorized into these three pillars. For our urban sustainability, the most important is the goal number 11. SDG 11, you can see sustainable cities and communities. That is in the left-hand side. I can show you in result pointer. This is the one. Make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Make them hubs for ideas, commerce, culture, science, productivity, social development. And very important that efficient urban planning and management are put in place. Some of the negatives. What are the problems of our urban growth in escalating manner as we are creating new cities, new place of settlements and manufacturing units and business places? These are some of the negative, means negative to mankind, negative to nature, negative to various aspects. Like by 2040, as you can see, 2 billion urban residents face temperature rise of 0.5 degrees centigrade. 36% of urban global population encounter average mean temperature of 29 degrees centigrade. See, 2025, this year, 1 billion people live in flood-prone areas, 50% of them in cities. Cities occupy just 3% of Earth's land area, but consume 60 to 80% of the total energy. Urban centers are responsible for 75% of world carbon emissions. Pollution of air is more concentrated in urban areas of the earth. Unplanned cities are seen with huge slums, tangled traffic, and greenhouse gas emissions. 1.1 billion urban people live in slums, 2 billion to join them in next 30 years. cities are mostly found with limited open public space and more poor air. But in 2022, only half of urban population had access to public transport system. These are the hazards or problems from the urban growth that we in any case need. So these are the challenges of urban sustainability. They test the resilience of urban ecosystems. Resilience means how they can react and become in the same be in the same position. They affect health and well-being of urban population. See, what are the factors? Air pollution, water pollution, waste management, soil contamination, energy consumption, resource depletion, ecological footprint, loss of green space, heat island effect, and threat to biology. These are the challenge areas. We need to address each of them separately and with I would say, technology and strategy. What are the effects of these hazards? Mindless urbanization eventually affects every citizen, you, me, and all. Inequality of distribution leads to unrest and security. Pollution deteriorates everyone's health and productivity, we all know. Economy gets affected from poor labor productivity. Enhanced natural disasters disrupt everyone's life. Poorly planned urbanization generates huge slums. Quality of life suffers both at home and in public places. Now, after the pledge was taken in 2015, the SDG 11 urban sustainability, what had been an idea of the progress so far? See, the number of nations with national and local disaster reduction strategy means they made the strategy that doubled by 2024 from earlier 2015. That means before that pledge was taken, up to 2024, number of nations having the strategy in place for disaster reduction has doubled. Similarly, number of countries tracking their spending on protection of cultural and natural heritage tripled in past 5 years. Protection of cultural and natural heritage. This, of course, is a new concept. We were not probably much careful in earlier centuries, but this is now taking shape. And then UN Conference on Housing and Sustainable Urban Development held in Quito, Ecuador in 2016 adopted agenda to set up global standards of achievement in sustainable urban development. Means the index, otherwise how would you measure that the sustainability is being gradually achieved by our strategy and actions? So that standard was set up. Now, sustainability, urban sustainability, it focuses upon creating cities which are environmentally very sound, they are socially equitable, economically viable, but everything for both current and future generations of mankind, it involving integration of ecological, social, and economic considerations into urban planning and development. Means all these aspects, ecological, social, and economic consideration, will be built into the urban planning and strategy for the development. Promoting transportation, actions on clean air. Transportation means public transportation. If you have privately owned transportation, then the number of vehicles will be huge. Public transportation will reduce the pollution, reduce the energy consumption, And also we'll have better technology because of high investment possible through government. Then use of renewable energy, efficient waste management, construction of eco-friendly buildings, and creation of green spaces and biodiversity. Now, challenges of creating a sustainable city are shown in a diagram like think. The challenges in the center, then at one side balancing economic growth, sustainability, global interconnectedness, land use and zoning regulations, political will, social equity, affordable housing, waste management, energy transition, transition into renewable infrastructure and transportation, urbanization and population growth. All the factors are pictorially represented here. The challenges to create a sustainable urban center are enormous, demanding multiple dimensional tasks to be accomplished, while some of them are self-conflicting even. That is the problem. Now, how do we plan? How do we plan for sustainable urban designs? See, these are some of the factors shown in the picture. Walkability, one, people should be able to walk freely. There will be connectivity, connections, then shifting from private transport to public transportation, then bicycle, track, mixed use of the infrastructure, transport shown which can be underground. All these are included. An important consideration in planning for sustainable city would be its people and their connectivity. Density in view, stress on eco-friendly public transport, eco-friendly, so hydrogen, electric, well-designed walkways supporting aged with walking stick or wheelchair, children, well, so that they do not trip, and the challenged. Everyone should be able, and the walkway has to be designed for them for proper use, safe use. Bicycle tracks, you can see those tracks in many advanced countries, including in Japan. Even in Japan, people go to workplace by running. Multi-use infrastructure services while being compact with adequate greeneries. Now, few prominent actions. Housing and basic, it is all described. Housing and basic service, public transport, urban air quality, waste management, disaster risk management, resilience to disasters. How resilient are we? If there is an earthquake, what are the rescue arrangements? Sustainable urbanization, cultural and natural heritage, urban green and public places, urban planning, sustainable resilient buildings. This is an example of layering for city planning. Well, in computerization project, it is possible that the same area you have planned in one layer the buildings, in one layer information system, in one layer the population connectivity. Population means mobility. Well, where do they go and how do they go? Then transportation methods, which may be underground, which may be overground, which may be cable carried. Then the energy levels, where are the plants located, the distribution centers. So various layering in the city planning will be necessary. Now the challenges and solutions. Challenges, first top left is smart growth. Growth has to be smart, transit-oriented development, traffic congestion and air pollution. Well, one thing is, comes to our, in every city, what we find is that if there is an accident, they create a hump. What does the hump do? it slows down the vehicles. How you slow down? By applying the clutch and the brake. And you slow down the speed. That way, the clutch lining, the brake lining wears out. If you slow down the speed and again you accelerate the speed to the normal speed, then there is an added energy consumption, fuel consumption. There will be unburned fuel due to incomplete combustion, and there will be inefficiency in the fuel or energy conversion. So, the congestion means like the hump on the road, all these things. It creates pollution, it creates consumption, it creates all wrong things. So congestion has to be removed. The humps need to be removed. There is no provision for hump on the road. Housing and its affordability. Environment degradation because you are cutting the trees and the forest is all the trees are cut and then you create some building infrastructure and the environment is degraded because I will come to that later because of the heat island effect. That is a global warming for any city. That heat island is a curse, but that obviously happens. And then you have, because you remove the vegetation, because you remove the trees, there will be no filtering of the air, no generation of oxygen due to photosynthetic method. Then social inequality, land use planning has to be equitable, community has to be engaged in all the developmental work, climate change, resilience, infrastructure, flood mitigation measures, how you drain the water, accumulated water, community resistance to change, public awareness and education incentive, and the limited resources, you will have to manage everything. The targets for the urban planning with integration. What are the targets? You create green public space, you create housing by construction, you also create solid waste that has to be addressed. You have a challenge with mobility, you are challenged for the supply of drinking water and also the drainage. So the infrastructure, digitization, control, planning, it has to be all integrated with government support and financing. A concept of smart city is growing these days. Well, in case of public service, the digitization gives citizen services, tourism services. In fact, the information on the arrival of buses at a point or reaching the destination, the roads may be smart and the parking can be smart, the control of traffic can be smart, then the lighting can be smart, the surveillance can be smart, everything can be digitized and smart technology can be incorporated in the planning. The possible smart solutions again, within the smart city, you have e-governance, you have waste management, the water management, energy management, urban mobility, and all other smart features incorporated in the planning in a way that you need to spend much of, say, manual work, brain work. It is all programmed and it takes inputs from the real-time system, and then it also adjusts itself for the better control and management. This is sustainable, smart city again, smart home, smart government. What are the areas of smartness? Smart connectivity, smart waste management, smart agriculture, renewable energy, smart grid, smart water management, smart transportation, smart healthcare. digital. Well, these are all the details. 60% live in urban areas by 2030. Urban population in every week, this is a figure is given, although I did not want to, well, strain you with figures, but then see, urban waste will grow by 70%. Then all the areas where the smart management can improve things. Now, this is a green city philosophy, how you integrate with the nature. Urban green infrastructure, you have network of green spaces within the urban fabric, both designed and wild natural areas, providing habitat for biodiversity and offering recreational facilities. Green spaces as infrastructure, vital for air, water purification, as I explained to you, temperature regulation, that is the heat island effect, and encourage biodiversity because supporting diverse range of plant and animal life, enhance overall ecological health and urban environment. You know, there is a food chain in animal kingdom. There is a food chain and cycle. So these are all managed by the biodiversity. This is how the heat island effect is explained. When you create an urban city from, say, rural, then suburban, commercial, full-fledged city, residential, what we do is we cut the trees which have evaporation, which have perspiration, and instead, when you have the concrete jungle, the evaporative heat taken away to the air does not happen at all because there is no leaf, there is no vegetation. The soil is covered with concrete, and you have the curve shows how the temperature over this concrete city is highest, whereas in a rural area where you have plant and vegetation at the left hand side, you have the temperature profile comparatively lower. At the right hand side also, you see the rural farmland or suburban residential, where also the temperature profile is in the lower side. The maximum is the concretized jungle city. Why? See how the heat island affects or happens. See, in the left hand side, rural area, where you have plant and vegetation, you have plant transpiration and water evaporation from the bare soil. Evaporation means it takes away the heat. Water also can penetrate inside the soil. The excess rainwater penetrates. I can show you with the pointer. See, this is the water percolating into the soil, excess rainwater. And the soil here on the top surface, which is almost bare, will evaporate its moisture and it will take away the heat. So it will be a cooler zone, whereas here in the city, you have covered the soil, you have removed the vegetation, there is no bare soil to evaporate the moisture of the soil, taking away the heat, and also for the concretized structures, you have no heat plant transpiration. Finally, the heat temperature in the city and the percolation into the soil is much less because this is mostly covered area, and you have this 3 to 10 degrees centigrade hot area, which is heat island effect that is a part in every city creation. Now, what are the resources? Green city. You have energy efficient buildings, you promote renewable energy sources and optimize energy uses. This is through energy conservation. You create a green city. The sustainable transportation, one can have walking areas, free walking areas, cycling tracks, common public transportation, which can be underground or it can be over the cable. Reduce reliance on fossil fuels means you can have it electric, you can have it hydrogen driven. So the pollution is low and you are promoting use of electric vehicles. The waste reduction and recycling is another resource for a green city where you have effective waste management, recycling, segregation, composting, avoiding air, water, and soil contamination. How do we do it? All the wet waste collected in the municipality can be segregated for composting. Wet waste doesn't mean everything can be composted, but the part that can be composted can be sent to composting. The other part, the dry part, has to go for segregation, recycling, restoration, reviving, and pull back into the circuit. And then the target has to be essentially zero land filling. Means you will no longer be contaminating the land or soil. When you dump anything on soil, it has several components in it, chemical, poison, many things. They, even VOC, many things. They contaminate not only the soil, but they percolate below and they contaminate the groundwater. And whatever remains on the top with contact of air like VOC, it is polluting the water as well. So water, air as well. Air, water and soil, everything gets contaminated once you decide to dump a municipal waste onto a dumping ground. This has to be completely avoided. Health and well-being, a tool for green city philosophy. If you have improved air, water quality, you have less of diseases. Lower combustion generated gases reduce VOC, domestic sprays. Even burning of incense is a curse. Well, domestic sprays means aerosol, the mosquito repellent, even the body spray, everything creates problem with the air and the environment, including lungs of the inhabitants of the house, the pets, and then the outside nature. That way, the other thing is anything that we burn, requires oxygen. That means oxygen is depleted, generates carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, particulate matters. So any combustion is dangerous. Anything that you burn causes problem not only to the nature, not only to your own house, not only to our lungs and respiratory tracts, but also for the pets and insects who help us. Then the social interaction. So creating any green city will involve community group support. Everyone can be involved. Social interaction will be necessary, inducing sense of belongingness, encouraging connections. Then access to green space in a city will give opportunity for outdoor activity, social interaction, and that supports physical and mental health. Green city is a philosophy for social equity as well. Accessibility to all green, accessibility to all, everyone, to the green spaces and to benefit they offer irrespective of location or socio-economic status. Community management, involvement of all in the planning, development, implementation of green city initiatives, and then social forestry. If we plant, say fruit-bearing trees, that is a social, well, that comes to social pool of resources that can be set up, planted on the canal shores, banks, embankments, and then can be shared in the community basket. The conceptual framework. Well, this is a big circuit. Well, you can note the important things only. Energy efficiency, renewable energy in all sectors is one big area. Greenery and extensive use in all sectors. The spatial planning of land compactness, the green growth and equity principles. Now the inner circle gives introduces the green building, green technology and all. I skip over to the next slide. Now this is a very interesting green building concept. See the green, a green building has big tree on the west side. In our situation, that gives the shadow, that gives cooling on the west side. Then on the south side, you see on the roof, you have the solar panel. Solar panel. And well, inside also you see the energy efficient windows and glass, light colored roofing, and then rainwater collection for harvesting. Well, all sorts of energy efficient lighting, everything incorporated in the green building, and those are the parameters to be considered in designing green buildings. When we consider transportation, you see everyone is considered. One who is walking, I show you with a pointer. This person is walking, this is cycling, there is a cycle track, then even walking the pet. This is for everyone. Then this is the electric vehicle, and you have battery research production facility, demand-driven traffic control, solar rooftop here, electricity, grid and all. This is the metro concept, tramways and electric bus. This is for the transportation. Urban transportation, you see the two pictures. On the left side top, you see this is an undesigned, unplanned city where people are walking, riding bikes and motor vehicle all on the same road. But here, on the right bottom, you have the family school transport where the kid is being taken to the school by its parents. So this city has made a provision for such transportation as well. Here you have the cycle track, not only for the adult, but also for the kid. And you have the cycle track. See in the next picture, people are comfortably, safely riding bicycles. Now this is a sample of urban transportation through metro. You see the network that is underground. It is Shanghai Metro Network 2020. So network would explain to you that it covers almost every part of the city. And if it is underground, it does not affect any mobility of anyone on the surface. And then it will be surely electrical or hydrogen. And so it is environment friendly. See, this is on the left top. It is a high capacity rapid bus channel. The channel with the buses moving on the two channels, pair of channels, only for these buses, high capacity, high speed bus channel. And then the right hand side, see, electronic road pricing means that if it is a high speed road, you got to pay more, and that payment is automatically collected. So that is a kind of a smart feature. Now, while we plan for the good urban sustainable city, we need to take care of all the road safety measures. One can see the warning boards, one can see the zebra crossing, one can see people carrying perambulators and safely crossing the road. The next picture is about battery charging facilities at car parking. For any car that will be parked will have facility for charging as well. So these are the features to be incorporated in the planning. Now, coming to the energy sustainability, that was transportation. So energy, renewable energy, it has to be resilient to withstand disruptions, because as you learned in the earlier session, that solar will give you power only in the daytime. Wind will depend on the wind flow. Thermal will, of course, be generating depending on the load factor, and hydel can give you a balance when the power plant has been shut down but the demand has risen. So hydel power can give you the fill up. So energy efficiency and smart grid for effective distribution, these are the essentials of energy sustainability. Well, these are some of the figures. Well, renewable energy target and all for 2020 report, old report. We come to prospects. Prospects in urban planning. Solar PV system you can integrate. MSW energy system, micro wind power system, green hydrogen production, all integrated. And what you consider are the energy infrastructure. Residential buildings, commercial buildings, city transportation, all will need energy, and in a different strategy and different loading, different volume. So different profile, power profile, requirement profile, different market. So the market part, consumption part are all tabulated in the right hand side, whereas the availability sources are tabulated in the left hand side. So on-site mechanism, how you manage on-site, you see on the left hand side, solar power, wind power, so electricity. Your requirement is for electricity, your requirement may be for heating. Heating also, solar heating is possible. Your requirement may be cooling, cooling energy, that is from maybe electricity or reversing the heat pump. So heating energy is heat pump, cooling energy is reversal of heat pump. Then you surplus energy, you can put back to the grid, and for shortfall, you take from the grid. Well, from power, we come to urban water sustainability. Water infrastructure, it is quite possible to integrate water sourcing, its treatment, its supplies, uses for domestic infrastructure and industrial needs, power generation, wastewater collection and recovery, treatment, recycling and reuse. That is the entire water circuit. You see on the right hand side, I take the pointer there. The water catchment area. This will be the well, there will be treatment area, power generation area, there power generation, the consumption area, and then the sewerage and treatment and the drainage treatment and putting back the clear water into the storage again. So this is the total water cycle. Now, metering system is very, very vital for sustainability of water in urban cities. So here you can see the metering points, suggested metering points, where the raw water in the catchment, when it is drawn, bulk water, then raw water means there can be a metering when you are drawing water treatment plant. It goes to power, chemical, labor, water quality, then point of production, and then production meter. After that, it goes to distribution and transmission mains. There are bulk water customers. There is storage reservoir, and then zone meters, and then distributed to various localities. So metering, you can, accounts, metering accounts are reconciles all the water that is drawn, processed, and supplied, distributed, consumed. And then correspondingly, one can have the metering and billing and recovery and then revenue generation so that it is self-sustainable. Here you have the innovations in conservation and greening use. See, water storage. Again, water storage here. Permeable pavement. If you have permeable pavement, then water can percolate and go to the ground again. The underground storages, how they are separated. This is the sewage load, absorption of CO2 here, how you are integrating the nature and greening with the town planning and water. So reduction of water runoff, you collect the water, excess rainwater for reuse. This is a picture of infiltration system. In the left picture, you see pebbles through which water, overflow water, runoff water can go into the ground or can get collected into a storage. Then at the bottom picture, you see porous pavements so that water goes back to the earth. Drinking water sustainability. So it is drinking water can be contaminated during supply or during production or during distribution. With population growth, the problem aggravates. Then it requires the planning for its constant availability and its good quality in the processing. There will be losses and contamination from the leaks. So loss, maintenance is important. And then all these factors are the challenges for good water management for its sustainability. What do we do? Water from the catchment, here again you show the same circuit. Water from catchment comes to the treatment plant, it goes to the drinking water distribution system or even to the industry. But then it has to be, there is another storm water system, excess rainwater, which has to be treated after collecting the wastewater collection system, treated before it can be fed back to the stream. And this is the total circuit of the supply, treatment, distribution, rainwater, runoff water, storm water, and drainage water going back to the reservoir. Now we come to sewer, wastewater. Wastewater in domestic area comes from toilets, sinks, and laundry. Industrial waste liquid have industry-specific pollutants and mixtures. And the polluted rainwater is the runoff flowing into the sewer. What are the hazards associated with urban wastewater? See, public health, harmful pathogens cause waterborne diseases. Nutrient pollution, excess nutrients from nitrogen and phosphorus cause ecological impact. Sewage sludge is also a hazard, sludge. Water pollution, untreated sewage pollutes water bodies to deplete oxygen and to harm aquatic life. So this is what I was explaining when I spoke about my involvement in Gunterman pipers, where bore water was being drawn, which had high TDS, and after the kitchen processing, when it goes out discharged, it flows into ponds, and then because of the high TDS, the fish would be threatened. Now, this is a separation system of the sewer water and the runoff water. Two underground systems are shown. Storm water, which is runoff, and sanitary sewer have to be separated surely, because the runoff water can be treated and put back. Urban sewer management, these challenges and for sustainability. We go over to this. See, domestic wastewater management. Domestic wastewater management. Here, you see in the left-hand side, the plant, shield your field, divert rain and surface water away, and avoid parking vehicles and planting trees on your drain field. Not to be done. Similarly, here inside the house, do not overload the commode. Do not flush diapers, wipes, or other items meant for trash can, so they will choke. Think at the stream. Don't strain your drain. Drain is not designed for solid wastes. You see the septic tank in the left-hand side, the drain field, they are separated. And on the right-hand side bottom, you can see the well from which you are pumping the water for your consumption. The well on the right side and the wastewater on the left side of the house separated. Otherwise, there will be threat of contamination. Recoveries. Various ways of recovery. Now, the difference between home septic tank and sewage treatment plant. The top one is a home septic plant of 2 chambers. From the right-hand side, the flow comes in. Then the sludge is at the bottom, scum is at the top. The overflow goes to the second tank, and second tank overflow goes out. You have sludge at the bottom in both the tanks and scum at the top. Now, for the home septic tank to be operated for long, the sludge sedimenting at the bottom has also to be evacuated and taken out from time to time, which we seldom do. Municipality facilities or infrastructure, well, it has to support the evacuation of the house septic tanks. Otherwise, if it gets full, then where is the space for your continuous generation? Also, the bacteria in the septic tanks, the same for the sewage treatment plant, where in the bottom you have a fan, you have blowing of air for oxidation, you have flocculation. Well, there are other addition than the common household septic tanks. Sewage treatment plant is a big plant where various technology inputs are there. But in any case, the ground will have some contamination from the bacteria, E. coli, that travels till it dies down. It can travel through a distance unless taken very great care of it. So if it overflows, it travels, contaminates the soil, it goes to distance till it dies, and then it contaminates soil, the groundwater, and also a leaking supply water. So that is very, very important. The vital aspects. Now, this is solid waste management. We have covered water, wastewater, and this is solid waste. This has to be now taken great care. Solid waste is a huge challenge for any city. One, we have to reduce the waste first of all. Then whatever waste is finally generated has to be segregated. Segregation, part of it is wet waste, part of it is dry waste. Wet waste has to be segregated for usability as compost that can be composed. And then the dry waste has to be segregated for recycling, recovery, reuse. And finally, we have to target for zero land filling. See how it is segregated. It is in a city of Panaji. Well, it is showing around 16 bins because I can give you a list of even 20 or 30 categories. You all know. Medical can be categorized into 4, 5, 6. Then there will be solid can be categorized into many. Liquid can be categorized into many. So here are only 16 separated bins, whereas in the municipality we get fed up in segregating into only two, dry and waste, green and blue. That is not at all. That is not everything. Composting. Left side you see composting. Organic waste for garden and agriculture. If it is not organic, it is not suitable for composting. A wet cloth may be wet, but wet cloth is not suitable for composting. A cardboard, a paper may be wet, but that wet waste cannot be composed. So we have to segregate. Similarly, when it is a solid, unless you segregate, you have in the solid waste so many things. You have even the door closers, cylinders which are explosive. You have the aerosol cans, explosive. Unless you cannot incinerate them straight. If you put it into incinerator, they will burst. So first of all, segregate. Similarly, there are many things like paint, varnish, or some VOC, organic compound, volatile organic compound. They cannot be put into incinerator. They must be segregated and had to be treated differently. So segregation is the first and most important process. You cannot compact them and send to landfilling or send to incineration plant. That is wrong. What is the objective of solid waste management? See, public hygiene and health is foremost. Then reuse, recovery, and recycle is the technical requirement. You can have energy generation, then sustainable development and aesthetics. Solid waste management strategy is described here in picture. See, the cleaner collects. There is a sorting in the bin. It goes to recycling plant by the garbage truck also. Then waste is sorted. Waste containers for segregation on the right. The segregation is the most vital activity of solid waste. We come to clean air. So how does air get polluted in cities? Through its industries, through the construction, through the transport, through the agriculture, and by domestic activities also. So health impact of pollution, it has effect in respiratory tract, or it induces cardiovascular diseases. What are the environmental impact? Ecosystem impacted, climate change impacted. Air pollution sources. Now you see in the top picture, the natural sources like wildfire, volcano, they erupt fumes, gases, which are natural sources. We hardly have any control. Then we have industry, there are fumes. Then we have transport system where the fumes. We have stationary power generating plants, fumes, and from the industry, domestic fumes. What are the combustion emittents? From mobile sources, from stationary sources, from all sources, combustion products are CO, CO2, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, particulate matter. These are the primary pollutants in the air. I told you earlier that any combustion anywhere depletes oxygen and also generates these gases. Some of them are greenhouse gases caused by secondary reaction among the primary pollutants. Secondary reaction among the primary pollutants that create greenhouse gases. Clean air sustainability, some of the strategies. Green space, you create green space park, vertical garden, you have energy efficiency, energy efficient building, reduce burning fossil fuel. Yeah, in fact, the target should be to go over to electricity, because we get electricity from huge and efficient power plants where with technical investments, the pollution or emission, they can be controlled much better than the domestic combustions or vehicle combustions. So electrical energy that way gives much less emission because of its efficiency and technical investments, that the pollution is much less compared to the equivalent domestic consumption. That way, we should attempt to move over to electrical heating, electrical burning instead of coal burning or even LPG gas burning and natural gas burning, all of which will generate, maybe sulfur part is less in LPG or in natural gas, but every combustion will give emission of CO2, SOx, NOx, particulate matter. Electrical heating at least would not give the combustion products. The cooking itself will give some vapor, that is obvious. Anything you cook, something will come out. But the combustion product of the heating can be prevented if one converts to electrical heating. And today, electrical energy will get cheaper and cheaper when one installs solar power in own house. Now, the other thing for the clean air is encouraging walking, cycling, use of public transport, hydrogen vehicle, EV vehicle. Also, waste management, if you reduce incineration, burning or dumping, then also air gets cleaner. Impact of climate change on human health. Well, heat-related illness, then malnutrition ingress, cholera, waterborne disease, respiratory disease, and mosquito-borne disease all affect health, human health. Clean air sustainability. How do we encourage and install public awareness and involvement? We have technological solutions, we have regulations, regulatory process, and enforcement. Sorry, where are we going to? Slide show again. Correct slide, yes. Now, healthcare. Urban sustainability includes public healthcare too. You have to have integrated planning for housing, transportation, sanitation. We have to address specific health issues from air pollution, infectious diseases, or mental health. We have to have the cross-sectoral collaboration, means planning, health, transport, environment, social services, and strengthen the healthcare system, expand them. primary healthcare, and the quality deliveries. One minute, give me a minute. Yes. Now, healthcare, the four principles of sustainable healthcare being you prevent, first of all, by taking care of pollutions and contaminations and heat. Second is patients' own self-care, empowering patients to take greater role in managing their own health and healthcare. Then lean service deliveries and low carbon alternatives. Innovative business, what I go over. Delivery system. Healthcare delivery system, there are four parts. You see, the red is community health, extended care, means added service, specialized services, ambulatory care, also was specialist. Extended care is for home services and rehabilitation, acute care, emergency care. Well, these are the four types of healthcare deliveries. Engagement matrix. Engagement of private healthcare providers, public healthcare by government and community health. Then there will be NGO also, primary healthcare and secondary and tertiary care system. After healthcare will come to forestation. Now, we have all by this time know about the heat island effect, the air filtration problem, and therefore, when we cut trees to create cities, it is our responsibility and commitment to recreate forest within or at the center or at the boundary or at the distance of the cities. There are two things. One part is reforestation, means where forest is already cut, and one part is afforestation, in which case we create more forests by plantation. What do they give? The trees, you see the pure air, because trees absorb carbon dioxide from the air. Trees provide us firewood and building material. Trees give food, means in form of fruit, or even there are medicinal plants. Trees give us shade and cooling effect. Trees give animal feed. Trees sometimes also improve fertility of soil. At least it protects soil from erosion, and all these things are benefits coming from tree and vegetation. On the top left-hand side, you see the precipitation, evaporation, filtration, transpiration, runoff, base flow, everything helping the environment in collecting or getting back the water or evaporation and cooling down in the forested area. The right side part of the top picture shows in the urban area, you have reduced water flowing into the soil, reduced evaporation and transpiration, the precipitation will get reduced also. So you have reduced collection of water or charging the soil with water again, and increased temperature. So we know what are the benefits of afforestation and reforestation, and we know that urban centers, they cause problem. We need to address that issue by afforestation or reforestation. Afforestation is a useful tool by carbon capturing and storing, by improving air quality, improving water quality, reducing heat island effect, enhance biodiversity. Forestation types and benefits. You see, it is inner forest, means within the city, within locality, in neighborhood. Then there can be say, center park, then nearby forest and far away forest. All three are possible for forestation. And you see on the right hand side the benefits we get from urban forests. Here you see the types of forestation, what I was just mentioning, afforestation and reforestation. Afforestation is planting trees in barren or non-forested land. That means first time to create new forests. Reforestation is rebuilding tree cover in areas that were previously forested but have been degraded or deforested. The primary goal of afforestation is establish new forest ecosystems to mitigate desertification and enhance biodiversity. Reforestation means restore ecosystem, revive forest biodiversity, and repair damaged habitats. The approach, afforestation involves careful planning, including tree species selection and land rehabilitation. Reforestation may involve natural regeneration or planting native trees species to restore the original ecosystem. How much time? Now I have come towards close.
Sir, it is
But-
9:29.
How much?
1 minute more.
1 minute. So you get environment benefit, social benefit, economic benefit through the sustainability effort. And the simple conceptual linkage is this: natural environment, social, economic, ecological, physical, they combine together will give sustainability, of which urban sustainability is a part. And this is the circular relationship of natural system with the society, economy, agriculture, resource, environment, employment, cyclical, and thereafter, let's save the world together. I have exhausted the time now. Questions?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, participants, that you tolerated my talk. Hopefully, well, we are able
No,
to share
sir.
some of the.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening session.
Thank
Now
you
I
very much.
would like to request all the participant, if there is any question, they can ask.
Hello, sir. I have one question, but I request you please share the slides of this session.
I have shared the meanings of the slides. The theme actually, this is nothing but common sense and common knowledge and common concern for the environment for the city sustainability. First of all, I explained about engineers' own sustainability. Then I came into the common knowledge. It is known to everyone. Nothing new. that we have discussed. Maybe the organizers can share the slides. It is all recorded.
The session is already recorded. It will be shared on YouTube. The recorded session will be shared on YouTube.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Thank you, all participants and all organizers. Thank you very much. I do not know how much I was able to perform or deliver.
Now, if there is not any more questions, we sincerely thanks Mr. Barun Kr Basak for his valuable insight on a few focus areas of urban sustainability. His expertise has greatly enriched the faculty development program. With all the inaugural formalities and the first two insightful sessions completed, we successfully conclude the first day of faculty development program. We thank all our speakers, participants, and organizers for making today's session engaging